Welcome back. We all feel it, but do we know what it's stemming from or how to manage it? We're talking about stress this morning. Berta Lippert, a local health and wellness speaker and trainer, is here with us. Good morning, Berta.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. So we're talking about stressing less in 2020.
We are.
I'm stressed every day. I'm sure you're stressed every day, right? Well, hopefully not with your tips, but you have some things to share with us this morning.
I do. I want to kind of approach this in a way that's unconventional for people. So I think where a good place to start is to help people better understand what's actually going on in our brain when we're under stress. So we have our limbic system area in our brain, more specifically our amygdala. Now the job of our amygdala is to keep us out of harm's way, okay? So when we have potential threats or potential stresses that are coming in, our brain basically goes through this appraisal process where we try to interpret the situation to figure out how best to respond to that stress.
Sure.
Now that process happens pretty quickly, and as you can imagine, we're probably highly emotional while that's going on as well.
Is this kind of like the fight or flight
That's
thing?
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yes. And so any potential stressors as well, not just an imminent threat. So what happens during that appraisal process, because of those couple of factors, we usually get a couple things wrong that just add to the stress that we have in our lives. So there's two areas where we get it wrong, and that's really a big deal. The first one is we tend to overestimate how severe the situation is we're under, maybe how long it will last. It will feel like it'll last forever when indeed it's very temporary.
Sure.
And you know what we do all the time is we worry and stress about things that are never going to happen anyway, right?
Right.
We're so human, we do that all the time.
We freak out about things and it never happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's something to be aware of. Now, not only is it important, I think, for people to recognize those things that we overestimate, that we get wrong, but probably even more important, at the same time, what we do is we tend to underestimate our ability to cope,
Sure.
our ability to be resourceful, to be resilient, to indeed be capable of handling whatever it is that life is throwing at us in that moment. Because it doesn't feel like it, right?
Exactly.
When we're under stress.
We have to control the situation and use what we have,
Exactly.
right?
And what we do to do that is usually a couple different modes that we go into. We have what's called a problem-focused coping, and there what we do is we roll up our sleeves, we kind of dive in to try to attack the stressor. So for example, if I'm really stressed out about an exam, I'm going to study because I'll attack the stressor. But I think what most people are familiar with is the second mode that we use. It's called an emotion-focused coping. And this is where we tend to think of meditation or prayer, being out in nature, exercise, certain things that basically just make us feel better to manage that stress a little bit better.
Definitely. And what's your final tip for us here this morning?
What I wanted to share is something that's really a bit different, like I said, unconventional, that I use with my clients. What I'd ask people to do is when you sense that you're feeling that stress that you're under, two things I want you to do. The first thing is insert a pause. So basically just take a step back, take a deep breath, because you can see possibilities and solutions that'll be there when you're not so clouded by all of the stress. But the second thing I want people to do is once you get yourself in a more helpful, positive state, is to challenge that appraisal. Because remember, we get it wrong a lot of the times. So you can put yourself in a helpful state where you're asking questions, am I looking at this in a realistic way? Am I looking at this in a helpful way? Do I even need to worry about this at all, right? Those kind of things. Because what it largely comes down to with stress is how we perceive it largely affects how we manage and control it.
Exactly. And we can't control everything, right?
Right.
Just realizing that some things are going to happen.
Right.
We can't do anything about
Our mindset is huge. Exactly. So we do these kind of things that we do have control over to make that situation much more manageable.
Definitely. If we want to maybe reach out to you and learn some more information, how could we do so?
I have a ton of free tips actually on my website at bertalippert.com. And I'm active obviously with you on social media and everyone else that we can share a bunch of free tips as well.
Perfect. Well, Berta, thank you so much for sharing that information with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.